Hello, 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 hello. Mic check. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Test, test, test. Yo, yo. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Yo. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Yo. Yo, yo, yo. Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. This microphone was not a bad investment at all. I like it. I like it a lot. Sure, some 7B my fucking ass, boys. You don't even fucking need it. Hello, 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 hello. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yo. Yo, what's going on? Hello, 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 hello. Mic check. Yo, what's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Yo. Hello, hello, hello. Yo. Test, 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 test. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check. Yo. Hello, hello, hello. Yo. Mic check. Test, 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 test. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yo. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Mic check. Yo. Yo. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yo. Mic check. Test, test. Test, test. Yo. Yo. All right. I think that's all this bitch needs. Mic check. Hello, hello. Yo. Hello, hello. Mic check. Hello, hello. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yo. Hello, hello. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello. Mic check. Hello, hello. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yo, what's going on? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3. so we need to check long and crate again. Hello, 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 hello. Mic check. Test, test, test. Mic check. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello, 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 hello. Yo, mic check. Hello, hello, mic check. Yo. Hello, 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 mic check. Test, test, test. Let's see. Delete that. Hello, hello. Mic check. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this 10-minute session. Okay, so this is a recording without any EQ, and I'm going to apply EQ as we proceed throughout this new recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done.
Is because the Republicans
New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done. New recording after EQ has been applied. Let's see what this sounds like now that I'm done.
Like I said, in Maryland,
all right.
happening all over the country.
I think this is probably the option here.
The law violates. It would be just that case. For example, just the Maryland case, it won't be a precedent for the whole country.
Right, but the class, the way that I understand it, and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm very literate, is that that you don't have to have signatories. It can be an entire class of people. Obviously, it doesn't have to be everyone's name on it. So if they get a protection for a certain group of people, then that would be able to be quote unquote universal. So you will end up with universal injunctions. It will just go through the class action route.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch these big issues get to the Supreme Court, especially birthright citizenship in October. So we'll be watching.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most
hello.
Analysis.
This is the microphone with the pop filter on.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Rosanna
This is
Scott,
the microphone without a pop filter on.
And Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Six months after Kamala got steamrolled and banished to Australia for speaking gigs, the Democratic Party just took another smack from the ugly stick of unpopularity. According to
hello. This is just a microphone test.
On net favorability. But have no fear, libs. Mayor Pete thinks ditching the hoity-toity talk will help Democrats.
Hello. This is just a microphone test.
If I hear one more time, like a well-off liberal doctor or lawyer saying, that
hello. This is just a microphone test.
I just wonder whether they ever contemplated the fact that somebody could turn around and say, "So are you."
Hello. Yo.
There's a condescension that is imputed to Democrats.
Hello.
We really
Yo.
need to deal with.
But Little Debbie thinks the voters have got it all wrong about the Democrats.
Democrats are typically
that's much
tagged
better.
as tortoises, slugs, or sloths, slow, plodding, passive. And then a little bit later, there was a respondee who said the Democrats are like a deer in headlights.
Hello.
How is it that you think that the Democratic Party has earned these descriptions?
John, I'm not focused on the animals that some New York Times reporter compares the political parties to. My constituents are human beings. I'm focused on the humans I represent, not, animal comparison.
And now Politico is proposing a bizarre shadow cabinet of Democrats to challenge the Trump administration, featuring such gems as alleged fraudster Tish James as Attorney General, Jon Stewart as VA Secretary, Giselle Fetterman, the wife of Big John, would be DHS Secretary, Bill Nye, the science guy, is EPA head, and comedian Nikki Glazer for the Small Business Administration. This is an interesting idea, a shadow cabinet.
Hello, hello. Mic check. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I mean, but they are grasping at straws, okay?
Hello,
And
hello.
the circling
Mic
drain.
check.
There's lots of analogies that we could use for this. I joked with Jessica, I haven't seen her in a week, that I leave and then I come back and it's the same topic. And I think, and when Hemmer asked me this morning, how long does this news cycle last? I said, I think it's for a long time.
Hello,
I don't
hello.
see anything
Yo.
really getting it off of the front page because, one, they're not dealing with it directly, and two, there's just so much more. In fact, Fox News Digital just has a piece up today about a lot of the executive orders and how many of them were signed by AutoPen. And these were huge sweeping deals.
Hello,
And we
hello.
have,
Yo. Mic check.
testimony,
Test,
but we have
test,
on the
test.
record comments from Speaker
Yo, yo, yo.
Johnson. Remember when he went and he had a meeting with Biden and he says, why did you sign the executive order to ban LNG? And he says, I never did that.
Hello, hello.
did.
Mic
Well,
check.
it was just a study.
Test,
Oh, guess what? Well,
test,
the study
test,
that goes
test.
to EPA all gets signed off. And Biden didn't know anything about it, and he wouldn't have done that if he knew. I mean, that to me is just the tip of the iceberg. So a lot more to come. And also you have the fact that there's a split in the Democratic Party that's very interesting. You have someone like Rahm Emanuel who's saying we have to go back to the center. That's probably true if they want to win, but that's not where the base is. The base is so much farther to the left. 2 weeks ago, AOC was seen as the person who's the #1 choice for Democrats, the most exciting person in the Democratic Party, the one that people are looking to. Last week, she called for ending ICE.
Hello, hello.
Right.
Microphone
The policies that
testing.
she
1,
has are
2,
much
3.
further to the
Yo.
left than someone like Rahm Emanuel wants to go. So they need like a giant etch and sketch to shake all around to see if they can get rid of the policy positions they've had since 2016, 15, 16, 17. And I just don't see this ending for quite a while.
Jessica, some may say this will go on forever.
Are those people are producing?
The question, did he do it? I don't think anybody could have predicted this, but somehow the answer seems to be no.
Crossing on the wires right now, Sean Diddy Combs is found not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy
Apparently,
charge in this federal
the answer
case.
is no.
The verdict on the 4 remaining counts are not read yet.
No fucking way.
Here's another alert. Combs found not guilty in
No
the sex
fucking
trafficking
way.
of his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Here's
Bro.
another one. Combs found, okay, so this is count 2 now. Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs found
Which is
not
like, that's nothing. Oh, driving a hoe around? Fuck, I've done that.
guilty of sex trafficking, and that applies to the girlfriend who went by the pseudonym as the name Jane.
Okay.
And CB, I'll bring you in. I want to read one more alert here because some of this seems to be a bit of a duplicate as it's coming in. Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution.
He did. He's innocent.
With the former girlfriend,
Free
who I just
Diddy.
mentioned as Jane. So those are 5 quick alerts that just came up on the Reuters wire, and we're awaiting more from inside the courtroom as we speak.
Whoever his lawyer is, I feel like that guy can quadruple his rate and still have that shit be on sale. Like, that dude is like, that's some fucking, what's that dude? That guy's name? Oh my God. That's not even Saul Goodman. That's like fucking Ace. This is some Ace Attorney shit.
Does that line up, CB, with what you have down there at court?
Oh, this is nuts.
Bill, so what I'm looking at, count 1 through 5, the only count that I see that Diddy has been found guilty.
Wait. Who is, so Johnny Cochran? No
Poor
way.
Diddy.
No way way that's
You have to
Diddy's
go through all of this.
No way.
Poor Diddy.
It's not. It was. I think this is from back in the day. Like, this photo was taken in 1994, okay? He dead? Then it's probably not him. That's probably not him.
Count 3, transportation to
Maybe.
engage in prostitution as it pertains to Diddy's ex-girlfriend and accuser, Cassie
Wow.
Ventura. The other 4 counts I am seeing. Excuse me, let me backpedal a little bit, you guys. This is all breaking in. We're dealing with rolling thunder out here. So I'm seeing Diddy has been found guilty on 2 counts. The transportation to engage in prostitution counts.
I don't care about that. I'm sorry. Oh, wow. You're driving the hooker to your hotel. Oh, who cares? Who gives a shit? Everybody does that.
3 and count 5 as they pertain to Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, and
That's nothing.
another former girlfriend who testified under the pseudonym Jane. What I am seeing right now are guilty verdicts on count 3 and count 5.
Wow.
And I can tell you that prosecutors, when they argued that Diddy transported these women
Someone says this new lawyer's name is Brian Steele. There's no way there's no way.
male escorts across state lines to engage in prostitution.
I mean, am I supposed to give a fuck about this? Oh my God, it's across state lines. Why the fuck are we the United States if this? Oh, it's state lines. Oh, it's the same with Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, I didn't give a fuck if you went across state lines. I don't give a shit. Who cares? It's illegal? So what? There's plenty of things that are illegal that are stupid. I don't give a fuck about the law. Unless I agree with it, then everybody should follow it. But otherwise, like, who gives a shit?
Pulled up a slew of flight and bank records going
Pokimane is apologizing to someone on X for laughing at Amber Heard. Please fucking remind me about that after I finish this. Oh my God.
line by line, in some cases to jurors, pointing out hotel stays, links of hotel stays. They also called in law enforcement investigators as summary witnesses to explain these lengthy, extensive records that they had pulled in this case. I think it's very interesting that these are the charges that these are
It's
the
a federal issue. You might not care, but Uncle Sam does. Am I crazy for, like, I mean, this take is, like, so normal. Like, I mean, like, marijuana is outlawed in some, I think I'm pretty sure it's still against the law federally. Like, are we supposed to really care about the law? Like, I know that you're not supposed to break the law and you're supposed to be a law-abiding citizen. But, like, am I really supposed to view this as, like, a big issue or, like, actually care about this? No, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about this at all. No, fuck that. Like, be a good human. Exactly. So why are you so stuck on this? Because I don't like the idea. Like,
hello.
Getting no morality from the law is stupid.
Test.
I do. And so when somebody breaks the law, and I don't agree with the law, I don't care. I don't think you should either.
only
I don't have
charges
enough money to break the law? That's okay.
that jurors found Sean Diddy Combs guilty of: transportation to engage in prostitution.
Who cares?
Also, to argue these charges, prosecutors called male escorts to the witness stand who testified about how Diddy paid them, in some cases, hundreds to thousands of dollars to have sex with Cassie and him. And at this point, right now, we can see from...
So what? Who cares?
This verdict sheet that Diddy has been found guilty on count 3 and count 5. He has been found not guilty on the most serious charge, racketeering conspiracy. He's been found not guilty on count 2 and
what? I mean, some dude wants to pay another dude to fuck his girlfriend. Everybody's above the age of consent. Everybody is consenting. It's in a private place between other adults. I don't want to moderate this. I don't want to get involved in this. You want to CLM? Fucking do all you want. Do it if you want. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to. I'm not trying to micromanage your cuck fantasies. Fuck, man.
count 4. Those are the sex trafficking counts, the only counts he has been found
Now,
guilty
before
of.
he had an issue with all this.
To engage
Now
in
it's all,
prostitution.
oh,
And I want
they
to
found him
say
not guilty.
that
It's okay.
comes with a possible prison sentence of 10 years in prison. Of course, we're dealing with
What?
to engage in prostitution. And I want to say that comes with a possible prison sentence of 10 years in prison.
Oh, what a bunch of bullshit. 10 years for that? Fuck that.
Of course, we're dealing with breaking news, so a lot of information is coming in, and we're working to learn more. But there is a crowd gathered here outside the courtroom. I'm not sure who is among this crowd, but Bill and Dana, I know you've been watching the trial closely, and you know there are a slew of Diddy supporters out here who have come every single day. It looks like...
I cannot believe that they were actually... I cannot believe he might actually walk. This is insane that all of these guys are right. Holy fuck.
What appears to be one of Diddy's supporters is out here in front of the courthouse explaining to cameras perhaps why he believes his someone he supports was vindicated of the most serious charge, racketeering conspiracy. There are hundreds of cameras, and we're waiting to get some more color from inside the courtroom.
You got it.
But we know that jurors came back with this ultimatum today.
CB, I'll let you go for the moment so you can gather some more news down there. I just want to repeat the main headline. And that is this: Sean Diddy Combs acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering. The racketeering is the most serious charge. That was count 1. That would have put him behind bars for the rest of his life. Not guilty on that charge. So to recap, of the 5 counts, 3 not guilty, Dana, and 2 guilty in Manhattan Federal Court, New York City.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here.
Oh my God.
The man's going home.
So if we disagree with the verdict, do we get to go out and flip cars? No, obviously not. No, of course not. But hey, if this guy's been accused of this many sex crimes, I think that the next step. He obviously has to run for president.
This is monumental, Elizabeth. We've been covering this case for 2 months, really for more than a year at this point in time. We are seeing the actual verdict here, and just for the I want to understand. Count 1 was the most serious charge, carrying up to a life sentence. He has been found not
Diddy for president. Imagine that.
Conspiracy, RICO, not guilty.
Puff Daddy presidential.
Not guilty of sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. She testified for days. We're also learning that he's been found guilty of the transportation to engage in prostitution count involving Cassie Ventura. He has been found not guilty of sex trafficking of Jane, who is the girlfriend that he was dating as well, and guilty.
You just can't stand seeing a black man in the White House?
Hello.
Watching that one video about how Trump was the first black president.
Test.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Of the transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, Elizabeth,
you dumb?
This is very, very significant. We had an inkling yesterday when there was a hung jury on the initial RICO charge, the most serious, that there might be an actual acquittal there or a hung jury.
Oh my God.
The prosecution insisted on having it keep going. The defense wanted it to keep going. And now we know they have a result. It is a not.
Do you think Believe All Women trash destroyed people's bias towards victims? I think that a lot of men nowadays, so do you know how like girls were like, oh, would you rather be in a forest between a man or a bear? And these girls are like, oh, I'd rather
You're automatically seen as the
irrational,
fucking
stupid
non-victim
thinking.
in a situation like that.
The male version of that is men being worried about false accusations. Most men aren't rapists, and most women aren't going to accidentally accuse you of rape. These are hyper minority, super uncommon situations that happen. But the fact that they do happen scares people so much that it makes them change their entire behavior. That's it. And so has Me Too set things back? No. Lying ass hoes has set things back. They got to stop lying. You got to stop lying. That's the problem.
Guilty verdict. Talk to me more broadly here, because the Prostitution Acts, people thought it was kind of a low-hanging fruit.
Why you always,
he
that's
was
what they
found guilty
say.
of those, but not sex trafficking of Cassie.
This is the best possible outcome for the defense. This is
Just say,
He raped you, Queen. He raped you. You gotta do something about it.
It obviously
Make up a whole bunch of
You
bullshit.
might not like it, but it is.
But if you're not getting a full acquittal, this is what they wanted. Their client is now not facing life in prison.
Yeah.
He's facing 2 separate charges that he was convicted on.
Fucking insanity, bro. Diddy's
This
innocent.
is a lot. So we have somebody telling me that I'm wrong about this. Will you sound a little dumb over this topic? What am I not on the same page with this topic? Go ahead, explain. You're misinformed about it? Go ahead, explain it. She didn't consent? Then why is he not being charged for rape? That's what she didn't consent to having sex with a prostitute? Then why is he not being charged for rape? Because when you commit a sexual act against somebody else against their consent or without the consent, it's rape. At minimum, sexual assault. So why not?
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello.
No, I'm so fucking sick of us pretending like this bad shit happened, but then nobody's in jail. No, if you're not in jail, it didn't fucking happen. I don't want to hear about it. If you can't prove it, it didn't fucking happen.
Carry a maximum of 10 years.
Is it not always true? Oh, what is? What is? What's always true? Oh, that's right, nothing. This bullshit is actually a bad take? Oh, really? Oh, really? So let me get this straight. Let's go ahead. Let's get this straight. So you, as somebody who doesn't know anything about the case, you're not on the jury, you're not the judge, it's a closed case, are going off of tweets, pictures, and TMZ, and you think that you have a better idea on who's guilty than the fucking court. Are you fucking retarded? Yes, fuck Diddy, he needs to go to hell. If they can't convict him, then he's not guilty.
Yes, fuck Diddy, he needs to go to hell.
That I would love to just put in jail arbitrarily. Just, and I think the world would be a better place. If I got to, like, you know how Santa makes a list? If I got to just write out a list of all the people that I think need to go to jail. Just straight up, like, I don't like them, they go to jail. That's it, problem solved. But that's not the way the world works. I would have it, that would be a long list. He's guilty, he just didn't get convicted. That, for sure.
So this isn't nothing that we are talking about, but the most serious charges he has been acquitted on. As Laura said, days of testimony from Cassie Ventura, from Jane, Cassie being on the stand for 4 days.
A bias against Diddy? He has so much dirt on people. Have you considered that?
These women.
No, I can't consider theoreticals. It's all some elaborate fucking ploy, and Diddy has all this power, and that's the reason why he didn't get, like, I don't know, maybe that's true, maybe it's not true. But I think that to assume that's the reality, rather than assuming maybe you might have not had the full picture, I think is naive.
Crying, breaking down on the stand. Well, guess what? The jury did not believe most of their story, or even if they believed most of their story, it did not line up with those charges. So,
and by the way, on that point, let's talk a little bit about that, because there was an inkling for those people who had been in the courtroom, including ourselves, who had been watching the testimony. Remember what they were using as a defense to counter the sex trafficking. It was free will. They were talking about free will, and they were suggesting, while the prosecution said any bait and switch or manipulation to coerce these women by fraud or threat or otherwise to engage in these so-called freak-offs, that force, that cloud of force and threat and violence that had hung over the head of Cassie Ventura was enough to suggest that she never could develop the free will to say no. And when it came to Jane, the idea of manipulating her to travel to places like New York under the pretenses of quality time and shopping, only to then engage in freak-offs, was enough of manipulation. Well, the defense, was very clear. They kept saying free will. These are grown women making grown-up decisions.
The chat's so against you? The reason why the chat is against me is because this is not the outcome that people wanted. People wanted this guy to get crucified. It seems like he's not getting crucified. They're mad about that. So instead of accepting that maybe the evidence wasn't strong enough to convict him on these crimes, they're assuming that instead of that, it's a massive conspiracy and he paid everybody off and it's some kind of bullshit.
We have an interest in engaging in this behavior. It seems that the jurors, maybe looking at text messages or testimony, agreed with that sentiment.
Absolutely, and we were just talking about some of those text messages that came in, and let's dig into them a little bit deeper. As I said, nothing about this is black and white. I have covered many high-profile sex crimes cases with famous defendants, and the concept of consent can be very hard for a jury to understand, especially when you have text messages that say, I want to do this freak off. Now, again, these women on the stand said that they texted those things to simply placate Sean Combs because they were scared of him. Because especially in Cassie Ventura's case, remember, this is a woman.
How can you make a decision based off of that? Some girl says yes, but then later on she says she was scared. So now it was rape? So at what point? Like, that's insane.
I've been told around to be host.
Yeah.
Got that on
This doesn't work with anything else.
video, and the jury saw that numerous times.
Crazy. The jury is leaving the courtroom right now. Their job is done.
That's consent, yeah.
Right now. So the duty done. They have been there for 7 weeks, and they just left the courtroom.
This is, I mean, really, it is a stunning turn of events. It's a
You have to prove coercion by force. Sounds like they failed to.
Turn of events from yesterday when they were deadlocked. But also remember, this is the beginning of day 3. This jury reached a verdict in under 15 hours after hearing 2 months of testimony.
15 hours.
Really a stunning outcome. Again,
Jesus.
I would anticipate that the defense is quite happy right now. But Sean
bet they
Combs will still be serving prison time.
Yes.
These are still 2 charges that each carry 10 years. Now, Laura, I actually want to hear, as a former federal prosecutor,
whether they, I don't know how long.
You may not want to make this prediction, but how much of that time do you anticipate that he would serve? What do you think that the judge may sentence him at, with each of these charges carrying 10 years each?
Still facing
Great
20
question.
years.
First, let me just dab the
Not gonna
sweat
go to
off
jail
my
for
brow,
20
because let me
years.
tell you something.
Very
I was
unlikely.
sprinting from the court trying to get here for this moment because I was so eager to understand what the actual verdict would be that I'm literally doing an affair to remember sprint through the streets of Manhattan trying.
When underage people were involved, they can't give consent. There wasn't enough proof for that. I think this is my mindset. I know it sounds crazy, but I think that you need to make decisions like this based off of the evidence that's presently at hand. And if you can't prove something happened, then you shouldn't punish somebody as if it did happen. This is just a basic concept. This isn't about Diddy or anything. If you can't prove that it happened, then the person shouldn't be punished as if it happened. It doesn't matter what the crime is. That's it. That's disappointing. I'm disappointed too. I think that he's a bad actor. I do. But he got off. And you either have a system or you don't. That's the truth. You either have the system or you don't have the system. You don't just get to change your mind. Oh, I don't like the outcome of this, so let's just make up some bullshit. That's it. We're saying that your system is broken? How can anybody make that distinction if nobody is aware of the evidence that's at hand? Nobody even knows that. None of this is even public.
To get here, and on the way, people were asking, is there a verdict? Through the streets of Manhattan, that's how people have been viewing this particular case. And here's the thing, after almost 8 weeks, SDNY has a success rate of conviction of over 90%. It's actually over, I think, 95%. So think.
This guy wait.
The resources that are being used in this case, more than what? It was 6 prosecutors, including Maureen Comey, a top prosecutor in the SDNY, who handled Ghislaine Maxwell and other infamous cases as well. For almost 8 weeks, the devotion of resources and time and energy and cost resulting in prostitution-related charges.
And he
now,
got
that might
away?
be a black eye if people are thinking about
Holy
the rate
shit.
of conviction, but they believed in their case.
Oh my
and now they'll
God.
go forward knowing that the jury, who they must respect, has found only this one. But here's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
10 years is possible, but for a first-time offender of any crime like this, it could be as little as 2 years in prison as
Wow.
well. Now, they could run consecutively,
2
meaning
years in
back
jail.
to back as opposed to concurrently, but that is something that we're not talking about the maximum per se, and this judge will have discretion. Here's what will happen now. He will set a sentencing date. He will
Told
have
you,
a
definitely
probation
something
report
shady
that is
happened,
coming
baby.
up. And over this probation report, he is going to essentially figure out issues of remorse and recidivism, which is a fancy way of saying, will they commit the crime again? He'll
True.
look at the different factors that are in play for sentencing guidelines. This is federal court, and he will draw a conclusion
Yep.
on that. He will not walk out a free man.
Somebody goes, I don't want to hear you saying stupid shit like people should go through a tough justice system. Next time a judge or CEO gets killed, you're against bureaucracy when it benefits you, but now you're suddenly someone has to follow the system. Well, if they had wanted charges to stick, then they should have come up with better charges. I am against.
What the fuck is- what the fuck?
Draconian and absolutely brutal Old Testament application of the law to bad actors. But I am not in favor of extrajudicial justice, like any sort of vigilante justice or anything like that. Does that make sense? So, like, I don't agree with going and shooting somebody in the back of the head, but I agree with charging them for treason in some cases, and then the death penalty being the consequence. Huge fucking difference. Massive fucking difference there.
Today at all, but he knows right now the possibility of life without
I blame the prosecutors for doing a bad
is no
job.
longer on the table. Prostitution, though, is, and I have to say, I'm a little surprised in a way. Although this was low-hanging fruit to have the prostitution, because, again, there was almost a guffaw heard around the world when they said, no, I didn't pay these escorts for sex, I paid them for their time. And the defense said, well, that's what it was, and they weren't always paid if they didn't perform. But they didn't actually call a single male escort who traveled across state lines.
Man.
They called two who were in this area. And
So this guy, this guy rolled a nat 20, and then the prosecution rolled a 1. And this is crazy.
also talked about their
Oh my
sexual
God.
performance. But did that surprise you that really this came down to the documents alone?
It came down to the documents, and I think that was obviously incredibly effective for the jury because, again, when they are seeing flight records that show said sex worker went from Atlanta to New York, that's pretty clear cut and dry that you are traveling across state lines. So it did come down to that evidence, to the documents, because you are right, Laura.
They already
Not
served
only
8
did
months.
they not
Yeah,
call
maybe.
any male sex workers who traveled across state lines, but also none of these sex workers called themselves prostitutes. So that is you bring up a really good
Hold up. How do you view a sex worker? How are you not a prostitute? What is this? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Why are we doing this?
point that these male escorts on the stand, they were not saying, yes, now in hindsight, I realize that I was paid as a prostitute. So that wasn't cut and dry, but that documentation, the bank statements, the hotel records, and also the flight records clearly is what compelled the jury to convict him on those 2 charges.
I think we're hearing something right now that they're asking.
All this case proved is that if you're rich, you get away with anything. I bet this will make people start taking justice in their own hands more often. If people start killing other people randomly, the only thing you're going to lose is your own rights. What do you think? All the people in power are just going to say, oh my God, we're so afraid now. We're going to have to do what you want? No, they're just going to add in more Patriot Act, mass surveillance bullshit until you don't even have any privacy. That's not what's going to happen. Like you're so naive to think that, like, you really think that these massively powerful Machiavellian psychopath murderer rapists are just going to say, oh no, they're killing us. Let's just stop what we're doing. How fucking naive can you be?
for Sean Combs to be released pending the sentencing. I believe you're saying he wants to go back to his home in Miami, which of course was the subject of a lot of discussion. He lives on 1 and 2 Star Island. Talk about the level of wealth we're talking about here. He will not have access to a plane or the ability to travel, we're being told in my ear right now. And so they're making that request. Now, it is not unheard of for somebody to be released pending sentencing, particularly if they're not sentenced on the far more serious of charges. And remember, part of the consideration for any judge deciding whether somebody will be released and until sentencing is their threat to the...
You're right, but so is the person who said people will take justice in their own hands. Both are true. Oh yeah, no, there's always going to be vigilante justice people and people that try to do that, but you can't have you cannot have a world where those people are allowed to exist with impunity. You can't have a world where you allow vigilante justice, because like everybody's like personal opinion of justice is obviously going to be different. Like, for example, there are a lot of things that I wish I could shoot people for, and those things are different than maybe your things that you wish you'd shoot people for, right? Everybody has a different opinion. So if you let everybody make that decision, everybody's shooting each other all the time. It's PUBG. It's Fortnite. Well, we can't have that.
Community. Do they pose a risk to the community? Do they pose a safety threat to themselves or others? Now, for him to be held on prostitution would suggest that that prostitution or transportation as such would be enough to hold. I'm not familiar with that happening with a lot of different people, so the judge could take into consideration, well, the jury has found they do not pose a threat in this moment in time. They want to set aside or put some conditions of release. It could be an ankle monitor, it could be otherwise, but again, the risk of flight, the posing of a threat to the community, all things that the judge will consider. Can you imagine?
And Laura, I want to read you the exact quote that comes from our Nikki Brown, who is in that courthouse. This is what Mark Agnifilo, who is Combs' defense attorney, said, quote, he has been acquitted of very, very serious charges. He has been convicted of a far less serious charge. The judge asking, as Laura just said, is your proposal that he leave this courtroom and walk outside? And Agnifilo said,
all freak-offs have been rescheduled.
Now,
Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Absolutely correct that he has been acquitted of the most serious charges, but I still want to underscore the fact that Sean Combs, one of the biggest celebrities in the world, one of the most powerful entrepreneurs and men in the world, has now been convicted. He has been found guilty on 2 sex crimes.
2 of them, but not the 2 least damaging. That's it. And do you think his career is over after this in court? No, I don't think so. I really don't. I think that especially now that he basically got, he got away with it in a lot of cases, right? I'll be right back. I can use the bathroom. So no, I don't think his career is over at all. Defense wants 21 months. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Give me a second. Sorry about that. We're good. News just came in. Bail has been denied. You forgot to keep the video playing? Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let me see if there's any more information about this. Okay. Diddy supporters turned the courthouse a full-blown spectacle. Oh my God. Diddy drops to his knees and bends over after hearing the verdict. Oh my God. Diddy supporters showering each other with baby oil outside the courthouse. Oh my God. Let me make sure this is this problematic? No, No, we can't see that. Huh? Yep, that's right. We live in a simulation? Well, I guess that's what happens, right? I mean, I do think that there is like a degree of like, you know, how did this guy get off? I have no idea. But at the end of the day, if he's innocent, then he's fucking innocent, right? I mean, it's really just that simple. You might not like the fact of that. You might think it's bad, but shit. I mean, there it is. Didn't even make sense. How are you not guilty of sex trafficking, but guilty of prostitution transportation? What was this Pokemon thing? She didn't apologize for the Amber Heard thing? Wait, Pokemon, I love you and I agree, but I can't forget the way you made fun of Amber Heard during the trial. It was really disappointing. Please address this. I completely understand. I regret how I restreamed the trial because any jokes are at the expense of the victims can be perceived. I apologize I took down the videos. Bro, these people are so fake. Love the virtue signal about this shit. This is embarrassing. Like Amber, she's apologizing for laughing at Amber Heard. Oh my God. Is he still around? How dumb? Yeah, it's so stupid, bro. Absolute bots. The switch up is the worst? Yeah. The only reason that she did that back then is because she thought it would make people like her. That's it. It's not about liking the fact that you're generally protecting a fucking pedophile. This is a really stupid hill to die on. Explain what your problem is. Go ahead. Always optics, never logic. Go ahead, explain it. No, it's all right. It's all right. We're gonna listen to it. You've been crying. You've been crying for a while. You've been messaging for a while. My problem is that you're protecting a guy who was multiple times proven to do shit. If he was proven to do it, then why isn't he in jail? Why didn't he get convicted as guilty? Proven to who? So you think we should put people in jail for your opinion? How's that work? It's a biased jury. It's all. It's got to be rigged. No. Let's listen. Let's listen. There's might not be any responses now. No, here it is. I'm a listen, I'm a law student. I know how shit can slide on a table and believe a lawyer would do anything to get major charges withheld. So he's not guilty then. So you're a law student and you want people to go to jail for things that they're not guilty of. You want people to be accused of and treated as if they're guilty of things that a court of law has said that they're not guilty of. Is that correct? If so, I hope you don't graduate. I'll tell you that. Change your career? Yeah. OJ was let go. We all know he did it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you can't prove it happened, then it didn't happen. I'm sure an illegal opinion, but not in a moral way. What you're saying makes sense legally, but morally it's going to get you cooked. Whose morality? How is it moral that a big group of people can get together and with no supervision, accountability, or any sort of, standard of conduct, collectively determine that a random individual is guilty of something and then punish him according to that? How do you think that that is in any way moral? It's not. Moral police are on the way. Yeah. Ignoring somebody's legally proven outcome doesn't seem moral? No, it's not. I can understand. Listen, I think that he's guilty too. But the problem is that he's not. He didn't get convicted. I don't know what's so hard for people to understand about this. But just when the facts don't agree with you, that doesn't mean that you get to just make up a reality. This is the exact thing that I criticize people for constantly, that when they get mad about something or they don't like what someone's saying, they just make up a bunch of bullshit instead. No, that's not how it works. It's either true or it's not. You're protecting a guy? I'm not protecting anybody. I've proven, I've read the papers. I'm sorry if you think I'm stupid. I do think you're stupid, but I think he deserved it. If you think he deserved it, then go finish your law degree and then find the people that were suing him and then take on the case as an appeal. Then go do that. Don't expect everybody else to go around and carry your fucking cross and expect the world. I'm not defending him. I don't give a fuck what happens to Diddy. If he got hit by a bus tomorrow, the only thing I would do is farm a YouTube video about it. I don't give a fuck about this guy. Who cares? It's got nothing to do with him. It has to do with common sense, logic, and rationality. That's it. It has nothing to do with Diddy. I don't give a fuck about Diddy. Who cares about Diddy? I'm not mad. I'm just going over what I read. I'm not expecting anything for anyone. So you're going over what you've read. Do you think that you have, actually, what are we even doing? I'm not going to waste my time with this bullshit anymore. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And anyway, let's see here. I hope that they want to be punished by the state standards that are representing and enforcing out there. Bro's saying he studies law. He needs to study English. He can't even speak English. And it's disagree equals ban. No, he's being rude. He's being rude. He's talking, and he's rephrasing what I'm saying. I'm not defending Diddy. That's not. It's such a stupid thing to think. It's a stupid and simple-minded way to approach a topic that is larger than an individual. It's an emotional entity. Yeah, it shouldn't even be taken seriously for a second. People are misconstruing what you're saying. Yeah. He's trying to walk it back at the end. Yeah, because he knows it's indefensible. It's indefensible to say that people should be treated as if they're guilty whenever they're not convicted of being guilty. The only reason why people say that is because they don't like the outcome. Trust me, there's a lot of court cases I don't like the outcome of, but you still have to deal with it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. Let's see here. He has money, and then we got another person. I'll pull up a couple more, right? You're all NPCs. Go back to games, dude. You're not for the real world. You realize that the real world is why you're mad. I'm living in the real world. You're the one in the fantasy. You're the one that's in the fantasy world. I'm the one that's saying, hey, let's follow the law. The irony with this is unbelievable. Yep, there you go. Can't argue with morals, they aren't in the same realm? Yeah. I hate the go back to argument. Yeah, it's just, there's nothing to it. Guy needs to calm down. I know he's crashing out over this, over nothing. The dumbass clowns. I know, guys. I know these people should be blaming the prosecutors for not presenting a better case to get a conviction. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yes, if they can't prove that he did it, then he didn't do it. Why will emotional people like this realize it's actually their fault that people like this, like Diddy Walk? Emotional people and people that can't think with logic should just be treated like children. They shouldn't be taken seriously. They shouldn't be listened to. They shouldn't be anything. There's no reason to even spend a second paying attention to them. They vote. I know, and I'm doing my best to stop that. Yes. Then why do you argue with them? Because it's important to call out the logic and show how stupid it is. That's the reason why. That's the exact reason why. So let's go back over. We'll look at a few more of these posts over here too. And Mango unbanned on Twitch. I saw that. I just did. He got unbanned after a week. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, sure. That's just the way it is. Sounds like you're not defending him. You think he's guilty, but factually he was not. Yeah. The issue lies within the inherent system, the inherent issues of our justice system. We should focus on that. No system will ever create positive outcomes 100% of the time. I think that the justice system that we have is relatively good for most things. And I think that whenever you're talking about putting a person behind bars and also no other justice system in the world is better than ours. Do we want to go back to cutting off hands? How about crucifixions? Well, actually, I'd be okay with that. But, how about witch trials? No. Maybe the church can decide. They can have an exorcism. This is the best thing that anybody's ever come up with. Anyway, let's go back. I'll see if I can figure out a few more of these here, too. But I'll try to figure out these over here, too. What is this? Do you think if Diddy gets 1,000 more bottles of baby oil back from the FBI? That's true. That's a very good point. Yeah, does he get the baby oil back or not? Yeah, I don't know what to say. That's a very good point. Let's see if I can find these. I was thinking about playing Sea of Thieves, but then again, never mind. Bro, at a certain point, this flag there's going to be too many colors on this flag. They can't stop adding things to the flag. Why couldn't you just be happy with the rainbow? The rainbow is a metaphor of all colors, right? So, why do you have to add more colors to the rainbow? Like, we already had the rainbow. I don't even know what to say. Trans wasn't made in the rainbow? Yeah, it is. Trans is part of the rainbow, for sure. Farmers, when they have to hire an American instead of an illegal and they can't abuse them for free labor. I know, it sucks, doesn't it? Let's see if I can find these. Whoever's working with subtitles needs erased. I did see this before. After being... Oh, I saw this on Twitter. After being booted from Egypt, pro-Palestine protesters annoyed flight attendants on their flight back to Minnesota. I can pull this up and show you guys the tweet about it. This is probably one of the most embarrassing things that's happened this entire week. It's real bad. Let's see if I can find it. They're so annoying. Yep. Let's go back. We'll watch it. Where the fuck did it go? Sorry, I was reading and thinking about something else for a second. I got distracted mentally. Okay. Protesters from Minnesota from a humiliating trip in Egypt while ignoring the flight attendants' repeated requests to return to their seats. So these people are being told to sit down, but they can't. They're trying to get them to sit down, but they won't sit down.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
I cannot express how much I hate these people. They are so obnoxious and oppressive, and they think that because they have a good cause behind them, any type of bad, antisocial, abusive, annoying, or rude behavior is proactively approved because they have the right politics. It's embarrassing. This is the kind of stuff I think that these people should be put on the no-fly list. If you can't sit down during a flight, this is outrageous. Why should anybody put up with this? This is crazy. And I want to let you guys know, these are the same people. I don't know if it's the exact same people, but it's part of the same group. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick and show you the video. So these are all the pro-Palestine. So they went to Egypt, and even the kids over there fucking hate them. They're trying to cope.
Hello, 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 hello. Wait, check. Test, test, test. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching. Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching. Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.